Evening all. I was down for another project then. So we've had a kitchen extension and we've moved, well, we've had a door blocked up and we've had a kind of very wide doorway added. The French doors were there going out into the garden, but they've gone. And what I wanted to do is just start introduce you to my thought processes and how I go about designing a project. So this is requested by Mrs. P, my long-suffering wife, and one of the problems we found with just having an open walkway into the new kitchen is the dogs are constantly following us and we're tripping over them. And we'd like to kind of have them contained as well during parts of the day while we're at work, for example. So a dog gate. So traditional dog gates, a lot of baby gates, and I've got 4. Julius had 3, and we've had Pippa together. So baby gates, we're very used to those in the house. So it's a similar concept, but well, we'll talk about the design challenges. I'd start with square graph paper. So this is a typical example of the book I use. So what have we got? 5mm square dotted grid paper. And in terms of, these are previous designs and sketches from previous projects. That was a bookcase, some calculations, workbenches, all done in pencil. So I teach IT in the college, and I've been teaching IT, computer science IT, for 25 years. So the last thing I want to do when I come home is sit in front of a computer designing something. So when I was at school, we were taught, the boys did maths, everyone did maths and English. The boys did woodwork, metalwork, technical drawing, and football. We were factory fodder. So working with pencil and doing a kind of technical style drawing. My art was told I was no good at. I'm quite autistic, so I'm good at maths, terrible at art. So, but I really enjoyed technical drawing. So having an old school pencil and paper and a ruler and a rubber to get in some ideas. So the total width of the doorway is 43 inches. I'm that generation as well. I was born in 1970, decimalisation. So I was that transitional period. We learnt in maths in inches and metric. So, and I tend to find with woodwork, inches work very well because the fractions seem to work very well for me anyway. So I'm going to have two posts, quite substantial posts to hang the gates from. And then in effect two wooden doors, but Mrs. P wants some see-through, so she wants to wave at the dogs as they're going, oh, let me. And if the dogs can see us, they're a bit more relaxed as well. If they can't see us, they'll just be trying to jump over and scratch and eat the gates to get through. So we're going to have stiles, rails and spindles. I made a coffee table 18 months ago, and the lower shelf for the coffee table I use spindles, dowels, very long dowels in effect, as for the lower tray, so it picks up that design feature as well. As for materials, the good old beech worktop from the college, still some of that left. So the posts, 2 big posts, so these are 2 inch by 1 5/8 thick. So we got 2 of them. So I'm going to fit them first. I went down the garage today and it's my sawmill, so I cut everything to rough lengths on the table saw. So we've got 2 chunky posts. Traditionally, doors are, the stiles and the top rail are the same width, and the lower stile, the lower rail, sorry, tends to be wider. They're going to be mortise and tenoned in top and bottom, and having a bigger mortise and tenon joint on the lower rail provides a lot more stiffness, so the door won't drop. So I have picked up that where are they? In this case, I was a bit limited with the amount of wood I had left. So the stiles are going to be, they are what are they? 1 5/8. That was the thickness of the worktop by 7/8. So the top rail is a bit wider than the stiles, so that's 2 inch. So that's the top rail. The lower rail is 2.5 inch. Yes, 2.5 inch. So I've had to do a bit of thunking with this. I've got a collection of offcuts. I'm going to turn, these are the blanks, and I'm going to turn these into spindles, long dowels in effect. I've got some different colours, because that's one of the themes I picked up from the coffee table as well. The spindles on, I think I had about 4 different species of wood, 4 different colours, and I just randomised them. So it's gonna pick up that theme as well. So I've got some sapele, some oak, some beech, and I might have some Indian rosewood somewhere as well lying around. This is a good opportunity to use up all the crap you've got left. So those are the user requirements. In terms of, you've seen the basic design. In terms of some of the challenges, I did try to convince Mrs. P just to have slats, which would have been a lot easier to fit. But no, it's got to be spindles. So it's going to have that kind of feel of a baby gate, but in wood. So the design, I haven't quite settled on how I'm going to solve this problem yet. So traditionally, when you're making doors out of wood, you cut the mortise and tenons, so the mortises go into the stiles, the tenons are on the rails. So what you would traditionally do when you're assembling a door would be to have you would glue these joints first, assemble and glue these 2 rails into the stile. Then you would fit the panel into grooves, so the panel would come in this way, and then you would put the last stile on, and then you'd clamp it, glue it. So, but with these spindles are going to go in here. So what I'm going to have to do is do it slightly back to front. I'm going to cut holes in the top of the lower rail and the bottom of the upper rail, and the spindles will go into them, and then I'll have to fit this stile onto here and then this stile onto here. That'll work. I hope. Another approach would be to just make the whole frame, and then beforehand make sure I've drilled holes all the way through the lower rail, and then slide the dowels in through here and then all the way up and lock them into a hole at the top there. We'll see how that goes. I might do that. It would be a lot easier actually in terms of assembly. We'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. So let's have a bit of a clear down then. That's the raw materials. The stiles and the rails are really oversized. I'm not leaving anything to fortune. I've left plenty of meat on all of the components so that everything's very oversized, very large, and then we can cut everything down. So these are the posts. There's a little bit of damage on that one there, so I'm going to hide that against the wall. So this is going to be the outer face. What should we go with? Start with a 5.5. That's about right. Check for wine. Where are we? There was a beard of wine in it. I think I'm going slightly against the grain there. Right, that's flat. Flats that in. Does help with it being flat before we put the winding sticks on, doesn't it? That's the one. We are good to go. Bit Humpty Dumpty there. Not sure of the grain direction. That's better. Face edge. Just need to clean up really. I used the blade I've got on the table saw. It's one of these general purpose ones, so it does a bit of ripping and a bit of cross cutting, but it's not very good. Not very good either. So the surface is a bit. I have ordered a proper ripping. I do prefer to have two blades for a table saw, a dedicated crosscut blade and a dedicated ripping blade. It's a bit of a pain in the arse swapping them out, but because they're dedicated at doing that particular job, it puts a lot less strain on the motor. You don't have to push it; doesn't fight against it as much. So it is worth the faffing about changing the blades. And in true Victorian axe fashion, neither of the walls are square. So this will probably be the squarest part of it. But the table saw is very square. So it's just a question of getting the saw teeth marks off it. Right. That's that one done. Just going to put quite a heavy chamfer for you're the base, you're the top. Six. Job done. So that's the first post done. So this one, a big fat screw hole in it from where the worktop was screwed to the undercarriage. So that's going on the back. So you're going to be the show face. And there's some indication of grain direction, which is always handy. Flat, wind, none at all. Should have all like that. Face edge. Back this off a bit. against the grain on that one. Woo! There we go. What's that? Bit of fluff. There we go. Chamfer. Heavy again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Four. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go. So these are going to be screwed into the wall quite quite how far the brickwork is away from the plasterboard, because the builder's plastered the door frame. There's quite a wide void between the plasterboard and the brickwork. So we're going to have to use very long screws, and I do have some. So these are 5-inch hex-headed self-drilling concrete screws. Bricks, they'll go straight into the bricks. I will pre-drill them first, and I'll do a test pilot hole just to see if I hit brick or cement. If you hit the mortar between the bricks, it's like powder. It won't really hold them. So let's guesstimate where and when. So I'll do about 6-inch down and 6-inch up. Let's gang those up. There we go. And something halfway. Use my mortar marking gauge. Eyeball it. Yeah. So that's the centre. They're not the prettiest screw heads either. So what I'm going to do is fill in. I'm going to bury them, hide the heads inside. It's why I did a decent thickness post. So I'm going to fill the hole in with a dowel just to hide the screw heads. So we got those. These screw heads are Flipster Mills 11mm. So if we do a 1/2 inch 12mm hole first, what should we go for? What have we got? That 13mm will do, beautiful. So we bore a couple of 13mm holes halfway through the posts, and then that should give us enough room to hide the screw heads. What was halfway of that again? Shoot for 2/3 actually. It's about right. This is just to give me the depth. The good thing about boring rather than drilling is the lead screw, or the snail on the auger bit provides a very good centre for the indicator for the smaller hole that's going to go through. And augers boring on a Sunday night is very quiet. You're not going to upset anyone. That's that done. So I want clearance holes for these all the way through. I don't want them gripping on. They want to grip into the wall, not the wood. So just zero that. So that is 7.6 mil. So if we do, what should we do? 8 mil or 10 mil? We'll try 8 mil first. Yeah, that's plenty. Lovely. Right, so that's the post done. So I'm just going to go and fit them. So I'm going to drill probably with a masonry drill bit. And you're always measuring your hardware. So the thickness of the centre of the screw is 5.3 mil. So I'll do 6 mil masonry bit, probably 5.5 actually, and then the threads will actually cut into the brickwork. So hopefully there'll be no need for wall plugs. Right then, so let's go and do that then. See you in a bit.